Oh no, what's that light? I hope it goes off. Ah, such a relief. Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Today we'll be talking about the supplemental restraint system warning light, or the SRS light. So as you can see, it's a red light, and red means stop. In this case, if one refuses to stop, the individual could get seriously injured in an accident or even killed. Two kinds of safety systems can be found on cars: the active safety system and the passive safety system. Older cars usually have only passive safety systems, while newer cars have both systems in place. An active safety system aims towards accident prevention, while a passive safety system is aimed towards protecting the occupants of the car in case an accident occurs. The SRS system is obviously a passive system. So now we're going to go over the various components of the SRS system on this car. Located under the hood of this car, on the front frame rails, we have SRS impact sensors. Their purpose is to detect sudden impacts on the vehicle in case of an accident. So we have this right here with a yellow connector. That's an impact sensor. On the other frame rail, on the driver's side, we also have another one, which isn't as visible as this one. Another major component on the SRS system are the airbags. Here we have the steering wheel airbag. We have SRS airbag written here. That's for the driver. On the passenger side, we have the front airbag located in the dash of the vehicle. It's right there. Also on this car, we have side airbags written on the sides of the front seats. You can readily observe that because it's a passive safety system, you can't see the actual components that will be responsible for protecting the occupants of the vehicle in case of an accident till an accident actually occurs. Next, we have the seat belts. On this car, we have seat belts at all four corners of the vehicle. So that's the rear seat belt, and we have the associated buckles in the seats. Finally, we have the SRS model. It's usually located in the center console of the car, and obviously, like I said earlier on, it's not visible from the outside or from inside the vehicle. Its main purpose is to collate and process all the information from the various sensors to determine what's exactly going on with the vehicle, whether the vehicle is about to be in an accident or it's already been in an accident. It detects sudden deceleration and impacts, and based on other inputs from the vehicle, such as its speed, the airbags could get deployed or the seatbelt tensioners activated, or both. The information gets quickly relayed to the SRS computer within microseconds. If the SRS computer decides that the airbags should be deployed, the 12 volts from the battery gets sent to the appropriate airbags, and then all within milliseconds the airbags will deploy. So I haven't experienced an airbag deploying in a vehicle before, but I feel based on the information I've gotten off the internet, if one is driving and gets into an accident, from nowhere, the airbags would appear. I'm using the word appear because of their speed of deployment, you're not going to see them coming out. You're just going to see them right there waiting for you to save you from extreme injury or even death. Obviously, on vehicles equipped with SRS systems, you have it's written on various parts of the vehicle, like I've shown earlier. On the instrument cluster, there is a light that indicates that the SRS system is operational, and that light also tells you whether there is any fault with the system or not. So right now I'm going to insert my key into the ignition. In the accessory position, the SRS light, that's the SRS light, right there in the left corner. It should light up for a few seconds and go out if there is no fault in the SRS system. So as we saw a few seconds ago, the light went out by itself. Obviously, I'm going to start the vehicle right now. If there is no fault in the SRS system, the light shouldn't come on at all because the self-check on the system has already been done and I haven't cycled the key back to the lock position. So as we just saw, the SRS light didn't come back on. The engine is presently running, and the lights we see on the dash now, the red light, that's for the parking brake. So I'm going to let it down right now. So we have no warning lights, no SRS light. So it means there is no fault with the SRS system on this vehicle. So right now I'm going to discuss some common faults with the SRS system on cars. Obviously, if a car has been in an accident and the airbags have been deployed, the vehicle will need to be repaired structurally and then necessary SRS components replaced to get the system back in operation. So common faults that could occur with the SRS system on vehicles that haven't been crashed. Number 1, disconnected SRS connectors under the front seats. On this vehicle, because we also have side airbags, the airbags are located in the front seats. So if there's a side impact on this vehicle, the front driver side is going to rip open along this line and the airbag would pop out. So obviously you have some SRS connectors under the driver's seat. A common issue that could arise would be if you have items jammed under the seats, the two front seats or one of them, and those items rip apart the SRS connector, you would have an SRS warning light on the dashboard, meaning that the SRS light won't go off after a few seconds like I just showed earlier. Also, because the seat belts are part of the SRS system, in case of an accident, you have pretensioners within the seat belts. Basically, what a pretensioner does is it pulls upon the occupants of the vehicle to put them in an upright position so that before the airbag deploys, or in some cases, the pretensioners just lock up without the airbags getting deployed and thus save the occupants from hitting their heads against either the steering wheel or the dashboard or the seats. So you have pretensioners in there. You also have an explosive device on them that goes off and violently retracts the seatbelt to pull the occupants into an upright position. So because of that, you also have an electrical connection. If there's any fault with that system, the SRS light will come on the dashboard. Also, if the seatbelts get frayed as a result of aging, it will be necessary to get them replaced so that they function optimally. Another common issue that occurs with SRS systems on cars can arise as a result of the steering wheel being removed. Obviously, because the airbag is embedded in the steering wheel, there has to be a way of getting an electrical connection to the airbag while the steering is being turned. In view of that, we have something called a clock spring. Basically, it allows electrical contact to be made even though the steering wheel is being turned. So a situation whereby the steering wheel gets removed without the technician paying attention to the recommended procedures, that clock spring, which is the electrical connection to the airbag and the horn in this case, could get broken. And once the SRS computer detects that it cannot communicate with the steering wheel airbag, the SRS warning light will light up on the dashboard. Obviously, because the system relies on the vehicle battery, it's advisable to ensure that your car battery is in optimal working condition, in that you're not making use of a battery that is almost dead. That could throw off the SRS computer, and in the case of an accident, you may not be adequately protected by the system. Also, on old cars, corrosion may build up in the electrical contacts of the impact sensors over time. So in such cases, if the SRS warning light doesn't go off on the instrument cluster, the vehicle should be diagnosed or scanned to determine which of the sensors is responsible for such a fault, and then such sensors should be replaced or have their electrical contacts cleaned so that they can function optimally. Well, we all know that at times you do what you have to do on the roads and things happen as a result of other drivers. So what are those things that you should do while driving, or things that you shouldn't do while driving, so that you ensure that you're protected by the SRS system? Number one, make sure in bold caps that you don't have an SRS light permanently on your dash. If you have such in your car, that means your SRS system may be inoperable, and if an accident happens, you're not likely going to be protected by the SRS system. Another point to note, make sure if it's raining, part of the things I do while it's raining, I ensure that I have my headlights on so I can be visible by other road users. Also, make sure you use your pointers as a when due, or as you should, so that you inform other road users on what you're about to do, and make sure you use them in a timely fashion. Then, in addition to that, I ensure I sit as far back from the steering wheel as I can, like I'm showing here. Also, make sure you don't have small children in the front seat, especially children leaning against the dashboard while in the front passenger compartment. The airbag on the passenger side that deploys from the dashboard usually gets extremely big, and because of that, it deploys with a lot of force. So if you have a child resting against the dashboard in such a situation, the child could actually get killed. Obviously, on the driver's side, don't have anything or anybody in between you and the steering wheel while driving, because if such a situation occurs and you're involved in an accident and the airbag deploys, whatever is between you and the steering wheel could get crushed and badly injured or killed, and you as the driver could also get seriously injured as a result of what you have in between you and the steering wheel airbag. Also, if you're going to be carrying children, the best place for them is in the back seat, fully strapped in their child seats or booster seats, as the case may be, so that you're sure that all occupants in the vehicle will be protected by the SRS system on the vehicles. Anything to save a life. So folks out there, ensure you don't drive with an SRS warning light permanently on. You don't know when an accident could happen. Make sure you're prepared at all times. So that's it. I hope I've been able to help someone out with this video. Stay safe out there. Ensure your cars are in optimal working condition. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Remember to click the bell notification icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, share this video with your friends and loved ones so that they can be enlightened. I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day. So that's the car. So, let me show you the airbag. This door still opens, funny enough. So that's an airbag. See how big it gets? Full of air. Bloop. So